Hey, what's up everyone? We have a Monday video that I've been wanting to make for a little bit now, and it's something fun, I think, and it's something that I think would be just beneficial to people just starting out in regards to wedding photography. And I was just went through like my old hard drives, and I found one of the first weddings that I literally shot. I had a D3000, I think I shot this. I was the second shooter, but I just really wanted to say, like, just go through it, kind of critique myself. You know, I might not go through every single one, but I just think it's something that, you know, a lot of people are going to experience when they just go out. They're not 100% sure what to shoot. So let's kind of like break down, and I'll critique the hell out of myself of my first wedding, what I like about some of these photos as I go through, and what I do not. Let's dive into that right now. So the interesting about this, and I'm really glad, is that these were actually imported in the exact order. I don't use Lightroom much, but I think it'd be just easier going through and show you what I did. So let me kind of give you an example of the day. Once again, I was a second shooter for this, my first wedding ever, back in 2010, 2011. And I had the Nikon D3000, and I think I only used two lenses. Mainly and I borrowed the guy who hired me, I borrowed his Nikon 10.5mm f2.8 fisheye, which is a DX lens, but then I also borrowed his Nikon 50 1.4D, which is a full frame, really great quality, affordable lens. So one of the first things he wanted me to do was essentially go grab some type of, you know, detail shots throughout the thing, you know, throughout the church and just other things. And this is where you're going to see, like, this is grain. This is terrible noise that came from the camera. You know, will someone else notice this? I'm not sure. Looking back, I think this is a shitty shot. Just to be straight up honest with you. You know, I guess it looks cool, smaller down, but up close, yeah, no, not a fan of this. I wouldn't use it, and plus, it's not in focus anyway. Even though it's a fisheye, it just wasn't right. Moving on, this is a cool shot to always get. I would have framed it a little differently, but the two main things is where this was, what school it was, which is right here, which is where I went to school, St. Francis de Sales University, and where this was shot. Once again, I would have framed it a little differently, but that is a good detail shot to get. This was a good shot to get. Now, my problem is, and the cool thing is that I was using the 50mm 1.4, and I shot it at 2.8. Awesome that I did that. Once again, you can kind of see, and going in close, you'll see, yeah, boy, this is really grainy with that D3000 at what you call it, at 1600. I mean, the shot almost doesn't look usable. You know, it's an okay shot, nothing that I would personally keep, and plus it's a little slanted as well. But once again, this could, you know, this could have just been a test shot for someone. This I really liked, and I kept. You know, it's actually really you know, it's a gorgeous shot. It's a little too close, you know, because that's a little far up. But, you know, beautiful detail, beautiful bokeh right here, which I used the 50 on this one. I did use the 50. Once again, my ISO was extremely high, but I really enjoy this shot, even though if it was my first wedding. This is a detailed shot that you should get. Moving on, these are first touch photos, these are first touch photos where the bride and the groom touch each other, but the groom wasn't allowed to look. You'll kind of see that in a minute. So this was them touching right outside the door. This is actually not a bad shot. It's a nice shot. Going through, I was outside, and I guess I realized that I didn't have to move my ISO. So that's a big thing that I would have critiqued myself back then, but I compensated with just murdering my shutter speed, which works. You get the exposure, but once again, you're getting, you know, all this junk that you don't need. So going back over there, I liked it better in black and white. That's what I actually delivered. Then this was the groom just peeking at his hand, seeing the ring, not seeing her because that's what they believed in, you know, not seeing each other. So then we went, and I would never ever recommend doing a fisheye. I think this was a bad choice. I know, once again, I wasn't the main shooter for this wedding, but yeah, no, it's just, it doesn't look good when you're doing this stuff. You know, I mean, I guess it makes her a little slimmer because it's a distorting lens, but you know, not a fan. Here's a bad snapshot. Once again, 3200. Didn't really know anything about flash back then. So, keep going from there. We're just getting the entrance shots, blah, this isn't good framing. Her arm's cut off, not a good shot. Nah, nothing, nothing really striking me. I think I just lived with the 50 millimeter this whole time. Once again, if I could redo this, I would definitely frame this a little better, tighter, give a little more room on the left right here. And now, even though this shot is really, really grainy, it should be, let me see if we can save it a little bit, something like that, pump the contrast a little bit. I really, really like that shot. Once again, it's not the sharpest in the world just because of where the ISO is at, but it's pretty. The moment is really, really awesome. This was actually, and I have one in color, one in black and white. One where I just caught him. I was actually shooting down the aisle, so I was shooting this way towards so they're walking obviously towards the altar, which is this way, but like going straight back is where they're walking in. And that's where I was aiming, obviously, because I was picking off these people as they were coming in. And all of a sudden, I heard, someone kind of weeping or someone crying. And I turned around, and it was the groom. And I'm, once again, it might not be the greatest shot in the world, but, the bride loved it. This is emotion. This is a true candid. This is something that you have to be looking out for. I wish it was, I like this. I like the reaction. You have the hand on the shoulder. This was a good shot. The color sucks. But I was shooting at 3200 ISO for a majority of the time because I didn't know any better and I didn't invest in a flash. But really, really good shot to have. This is them meeting for the first time. Lighting could have been a little bit better. But you could see, even though the colors were mucky and everything, it was a good choice. I wish it was framed a little differently to use black and white to kind of save those moments. Bad shot. Bad shot of the entire group. It's not really in focus. They were sitting off to the side for the most part. This is actually not a bad shot. I wish they were doing a little more. Once again, more side stuff. Just a little bit of coverage, not bad. This is when I played with selective color and I'll punch myself in the face for it. Cheesy, don't do it. Whatever. This is them out of focus. Them out of focus. The placing of the ring, which I didn't expect, and I had, what lens did I have for this? Maybe I had my Sigma 70-200, 2.8 then, like one of the first versions, and I think that's maybe what I switched to or something during the shoot. This is them walking. Well, first of all, I don't like how it's cropped in way too tight, and it's tilted. It just isn't a good shot. This is after. This is them with the rings. This is literally a second shooter angle. We're just going to kind of go through these. It would have been a good moment if I caught them kissing, but for some reason I just didn't. Still didn't. And this actually isn't a bad moment. It's just the background sucks. I would have. This was at the what? Eric, why did you shoot this at f11? This would have been very, very nice if you shot this at like 2.8 or something, or f4. Big mistake. That shot at f11. That's why you're seeing all the cars and everything in the parking lot. Shoot better. Once again, you're still at f11. You're seeing everything. Not the most flattering angle. Went back to the fisheye. You know what? This isn't a terrible shot. Yeah, this is back to the fisheye. f4 because there's a lot going on here. Once again, cutting off the moments. So this doesn't work here just because there's a lot of people here. I think it worked a little better. This didn't work there. It's too distorted. This is definitely a good detail thing. They had a PowerPoint up on the side. This is a horrible cake shot. These are always good things to get. I think this is where they were having like a memorial table of like the bride of the groom's grandparents who passed away. The entry shots in here, awesome moment. It's shot like ass, which sucks. This is the first dance, and if I didn't really love the fisheye, and I wish I didn't, I think I only had the 18-105 kit lens, but I think, what did I shoot this at? And I shot this at an f2.8. That's unacceptable for a group shot like this. So definitely you don't want to do that. So we're just going to go through a little bit. Just The thing that I'm not disappointed at is I had a lot of moments. I tried a slower shutter speed. I dropped it. Let's see. I guess I didn't drop it much. I dropped it to a 40th of a second. I did one of these moving type of things, and that's what, kind of gave that effect. A fun moment, even though I caught her looking directly at the camera type of thing. And keep going. So it's just very, very interesting. Grab your details, some dancing. Got an interesting lens flare. Once again, these are 3200 ISO with a terrible sensor of a camera. Went back to the fisheye. This is flash straight on. This is why it's unflattering light. There's no contrast. There's nothing that looks good. Just more bad shots. Cool little kiss here and there. And that's actually going to round off the set. I know this video was kind of long, but this was this is the first wedding I ever photographed. And once again, there were some key moments that I still have. It was probably less than 5 that I actually have, and I actually have 1 or 2 in my portfolio because, they're really, really good detail shots and maybe, a moment or two that, I really enjoyed. But my biggest problem was, let's go back to here. This is the start of it, is that I was shooting with a 50mm f1.4 lens. Now, this could have gave me compression. 50 millimeters isn't a bad focal length, but the problem was I was shooting at f11. That's one big problem, and I just kept doing that literally for everything outside until I switched the lenses. So there's that, and it's the fact that I was outside and I didn't understand the exposure triangle 100%. And I left my shutter speed, because let's go back to in the church. What was the shutter speed at? 1600. We went outside. Guess what it stayed at? 1600. Now that is one of the first things I change is my ISO. I drop that down so you don't get, this. Once again, that's not always a terrible thing. It's just unnecessary for the type of situation that we were in. This was bright, beautiful, diffused light. It wasn't bright and sunny. It was a nice, cloudy, overcast day. And I had no reason to be shooting at, 1/1/1600th of a shutter. So that's all I got. I wanted to go through, longer video, just kind of show you my first wedding, just show you, I guess the mentality that I changed from to now, and just the big mistakes that one can make when just starting out or second shooting in general. So don't use stupid lenses, watch your settings, and I think that is a good leaving off point. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. If you sticked around for this entire video, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Give this a big thumbs up. And once again, comment down below maybe what were some big mistakes if you're going back into your archives that you noticed when you shot your first event, wedding, portrait, whatever. It'd be really, really cool to see what everybody has to say. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Eric, your first wedding, not terrible, but not good. Do better. Have a good one, guys.